It happened somewhat accidentally. I mean, obviously, I had heard of Habitat. Its name is well known. And I had a background in real estate. It really was just a matter of Doris giving me the soft sell and convinced me that I should volunteer. And so I had been a real estate broker and had spent 15 years with the highway department doing real estate. So real estate was sort of second nature to me. And I was sort of excited about the idea of working for, doing some work for a nonprofit. And yeah, it was very exciting. I guess maybe 7 years ago, I think I started, and went out, interviewing prospective homeowners, getting to know who they were and what their living situations were like. I'm amazed at how dedicated some people are, because they have to put in volunteer hours in the process and part of their application. It's not just qualifying for the bank and getting extra support from Habitat, but they also have to have a part of it. Housing construction goes on all the time. And Yakima is not a community that has grown very rapidly. Things happen here fairly gradually. It's not like a terribly dramatic increase in population, but it's growing in popularity. And typically, the housing market the builders and the housing market in general will keep pace with that marketplace, because if there's a demand, there's money to be made. Yakima has some degree of available land, so things would well. And then along I guess it was 2008, 2009, we had that huge financial crisis that knocked the hell out of the market. Construction was ground to a halt for several years. Then later on, more recently, we had the pandemic. And so what those two events have caused was a real disruption on the construction side, so that the supply was really interrupted. It was not keeping pace. And then on top of that, we had the cost of materials began to climb quite rapidly. And so that made it, in some ways, the economics of it, made it more complicated. So the financial crisis, the pandemic, the supply chain issues, have sort of kind of come together to make it a tricky market in terms of there's just a general shortage. And I think that's true across the country. If you don't have a supply of housing, then prices begin to rise, people get priced out of the market, and there's just a general shortage. I hesitate to use the word, but in a sense, the product that we provide is really kind of subsidized housing, because we underwrite a portion of the construction cost. So it makes it more affordable. That becomes sort of the formula. But we've seen a tremendous increase. I think the cost of our houses now is well over $200,000. For and they're modest houses. It's not like it's some castle. And so that's the methodology. We wind up sort of subsidizing in some way to make it that much more affordable. We hear the term affordable housing thrown around a lot, in politics, and particularly now, since it is such an apparent issue. I think a lot of people don't understand really what that means, and how, and it's not an easy goal. It's not, and invariably it means that someone has to chip in. I think it will definitely expand. Melanie has, some really strong goals in terms of the number of units increasing, because the need is there. Plus, up until now, almost all of our construction has been single-family housing. It's been almost like a cookie cutter formula, and we're beginning to sort of branch out. We typically think of the need being, okay, it's a couple that's got 3 or 4 kids, and they're running out of space, and they can't, they need space. But the formula is changing. Like we had one that was a single dad with one child who applied. So yeah, it's coming. The applicants come in different varieties now. It's been a joy. Habitat is a well-run organization. A lot of good people on the staff side. The board. I'm increasingly impressed with their savvy and it makes it work. Plus, we have all these partners out in the community who are ready to jump in and help, and so it makes it very rewarding.